Right now, a hearing is underway in the case against Cory Bigsby in Hampton. He's charged with the murder of his young son, Cody Bigsby. And today, his attorney filed a motion to throw out a confession statement he allegedly wrote while in jail. News 3 reporter Kelsey Jones has been inside the courtroom all morning. Good afternoon, Kelsey. Bring us up to speed.
Yeah, good afternoon, Jen. I have been in court for hours, and court is still in session right now. And today has been eventful, to say the least. But Hampton's Commonwealth Attorney Anton Bell is calling today a day of reckoning and a day of truth, wanting to get all of the information out there today for the public to know and report. And for the very first time, we are hearing a alleged confession that Cory Bigsby wrote in Hampton Roads Regional Jail, giving it to an officer. And that officer was in the courtroom today and quite frankly broke down as he read Cory's confession. And also a former lieutenant with the Hampton Roads Regional Jail also testified, and she also just described to us that horrific statement in court. Now, Cody said, quote, he stepped outside of his apartment to get some items out of his car to wash clothes, and when he got back inside, he saw his son laying on the ground unresponsive, and he tried to revive him, but he couldn't breathe, so he stepped outside and prayed. Cory then put him in a trash bag and left him in the car for 3 days. The letter also stated he then drove his son's body to Garrett Morgan Boulevard. That did not sound familiar to me, so I did a quick Google search, and that shows that location is in Maryland. And so then Bigsby wrote he buried Cody and then grabbed something to eat. So a lot of things are coming to the spotlight again. And as you all know, Bigsby's defense is trying to not have that motion granted in court today. And again, the officers, 2 officers with Hampton Roads Regional Jail took the stand and read that confession today in court. And Cory Bigsby's families was there in support, along with other folks who plan to testify again. Now, this will be a long day.
Yeah, Ashley, Bethany, prosecutors called officers from the Hampton Roads Regional Jail to the stand to read several statements they say Cory Bigsby wrote or told them back in August 2022 and December 2022. And they had officers read those statements aloud in court. In it, Bigsby talks about the day his son Cody Bigsby died. In the statement, he allegedly says, quote, I found my son unresponsive, tried CPR, I could not revive him. The officer on the stand says Bigsby dictated this confession to him and the officer wrote it down. The officer says Bigsby said he tried several times to revive him and asked God to save him. Bigsby says he went outside to talk to God. Bigsby says he realized Cody wasn't coming back, and he says, quote, he put him in a trash bag, put it in the car, and it sat for 3 days. Bigsby says after he put him in the car, he drove to Garrett A. Morgan Boulevard and buried him. A second officer took the stand and testified about a statement she got from Bigsby. She says Bigsby allegedly wrote that on January 30th, 2022, he stepped out of his apartment to get items from his car. When he returned, he found Cody laying at the bottom of the steps unresponsive. In the statement, she says Bigsby says Cody must have fallen. He also says he buried him. And another officer testified that they found a letter in Bigsby's jail cell in his notebook where Bigsby says he allegedly killed Cody. The officer says Bigsby writes he hit Cody's head on the floor, hit him with his fists, and put him in the fridge and buried him. Now, the court is on a lunch break. The judge could possibly rule to suppress these statements. That is what the defense is asking for. The defense attorneys are saying that jail staff allegedly coerced Bigsby into writing these statements. And of course, we're going to keep you updated on all the happenings today.
We have breaking news here at midday. We have a major update in the case of missing 4-year-old Cody Bigsby.
New testimony is shedding light about how his father, Cory, allegedly killed his son and hid the body. There's a hearing going on right now in Hampton. Our reporter ran out of the courtroom to bring us this information. So testimony came from an officer at the Hampton Roads Regional Jail in court this morning. He said Cory Bigsby confessed that he found Cody unresponsive one night and then tried to give Cody CPR. Well, then he realized the boy was dead and wasn't coming back. So instead of reporting his son's death, the officer testified that Bigsby told him he put his son in a trash bag, then placed the bag in his car for 3 days. Then he buried the boy's body and threw items in a dumpster.
Meanwhile, the Hampton judge overseeing a hearing just ruled that a 6-year-old boy can testify via video in the trial against Bigsby's father, Cory Bigsby. That boy is another one of Cory's children. The decision came down after testimony from a child trauma expert. As we reported, the defense wanted the boy to testify in person in front of his father, but we're told the boy expressed that he was scared and worried about his feelings and expressed those to a counselor.
The defense is working to get certain police interviews with Cory Bigsby thrown out, and that was part of why we heard from that officer that was in jail. We've been following this story since Cody was first reported missing in January of 2022. His body has never been found, and his father, Cory, has been charged in his death and disappearance. Court documents say he killed Cody sometime in June of 2021.